Today I fucked up by telling a stranger I can't wait to fuck them tonight. Disclaimer: this happened at least 6 years ago, and was deeply repressed by shame. I only remembered it in a conversation with my wife when she asked, "What was your most embarrassing moment?" So I was at a work party, and my GF at the time, not currently my wife, offered to pick me up and drive me home, knowing I would get fully sloshed at the party. She was right. On the way home, I ask her to pull into a gas station for cigarettes. She pulls her light blue Jeep into the parking lot. I stumble out of the Jeep, go in, and complete my purchase. I, over-aggressively, yank open the passenger's door to the blue Jeep, plop myself down on the seat, and say to my GF, "I can't wait to get home and fuck the shit out of you." I was not expecting to get hit in the face. I also did not expect the loudest goddamn screaming I've ever heard in my life. Instinctively, I covered up my face and wondered what the hell I said wrong, as it was not uncommon for either of us to say something like that to each other. The screaming was intense and sounded very scared, so I couldn't really make out what my GF was yelling, until between punch 3 or 4, when I heard, clear as a bell, "You fucking rapist, get the fuck out of my car." Whoa whoa whoa, instant sobriety. I uncovered my face and looked up, finally dawning on me that although I was in a blue Jeep, it was not my chess blue Jeep. My chess identical blue Jeep was parked next to and blocked by this random woman's blue Jeep. I finally tumbled out of the car, went to my chess car, and told her what happened. She convinced the woman not to call the police to tell them about some crazy guy breaking into her car and telling her he was gonna fuck her. I did not fuck anyone that night. Too long didn't read, drunkenly got into the wrong car, assumed the driver was my GF, and told her I was going to fuck her. My grandma was on the receiving end of something like this once. She was sitting at Walmart waiting on my grandpa, when some other old guy opened the door and said, "I'm back, dear," or something to that effect. Then sat down. Grandma looked over at him and said, "You're in the wrong car, darling." The guy jumped at the unfamiliar voice and started apologizing profusely. When Grandpa came back, Grandma told him she almost left with another man. That's the kind of joke everyone should but almost nobody can tell to their significant other. Well, that made me feel better about accidentally saying I love you to a patient instead of goodbye the other day. Bwam. I work as a firefighter, and there have been a few times where one of us, firefighters, accidentally say I love you while getting off of the phone with other FFs instead of our spouses. So, to fix that, we just started saying I love you to each other all the time. Ending a phone call. I love you. Leaving work. I love you. Lol. It's hilarious and awesome because we actually do care deeply for each other like a family. It makes you wonder how this would have ended if the lady in the wrong Jeep had said yes. "Hey babe, I can explain." Was she traveling with someone? Imagine the beating you would have taken if, for example, she was traveling with a boyfriend, and he happened to be heading towards the stranger's Jeep around the same that you accidentally invited yourself in. Chalk this up as an overall win and a funny story. In my state, she could have pulled a gun and killed him. Guy is lucky. I did this except the part where I told the owner of the vehicle I was going to bang the hell out of them. It was also in the middle of the day and I was dead sober, so it's even more awkward. I parked at the post office, extremely distracted as I had a ton of things to do in very small amount of time that day. Line took forever, so I ran out the door and hopped into the first gold Impala I see. Then I wonder why there's beads on my driver's set. And then I see an older, I was about 30 at the time, woman looking at me terrified in the passenger seat. And then I realized I was in the wrong Impala. I profusely apologize to the lady, point to my car next to hers, and we both crack up. I have a silver Ford Fusion, and someone with the same car must have parked right next to me. Happens a lot since they're so common and it's kinda a running joke. Most I've participated in was 4 side by side. I get to my car, and I notice the seat in the front was all torn up, and I jerked the door open and said an audible no. I'm super lucky the driver was cool, and must have overheard me, because he just came up and tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to mine. In that situation I probably would have immediately called the cops. Edit, I just spent a full minute trying to figure out why my key wouldn't unlock my car in a restaurant parking lot. What a fucking crazy coincidence, I talked about it today. The irony is, the first time the button didn't work, I thought, heh, what if this is just like the conversation I was having on Reddit? Lo and behold. Today I fucked up by matching with my homophobic uncle on Grindr. So I have an uncle, we will call him Jay, who has always been very vocal about his disapproval of my sexuality. There is not a family gathering that goes by where he doesn't say something assholish about homosexuality or me specifically. Well, this weekend in between family gatherings I was looking to meet somebody. I started chatting with an older man because that's how I roll. A lot of older guys don't like to show their faces because they aren't out, so I don't think much of it when he doesn't show me his face. We actually hit it off great, and after receiving a few pics I wish I could unsee and sending a few I wish I could take back, we decided to meet up for, well, you know? So I'm at this coffee shop down the street waiting for my man to show up, and you know who walks in. It is at this moment I realize my FU, I've been flirting with my gay-hating closeted uncle. He tried to play it off like a random encounter, but I wasn't letting him get away with that. After some pressing he finally admits that he is the man I've been talking to, and I told him I don't judge him like he does me. He apologized for the hurtful things he said to me over the years. He kept talking with me like he was still interested, and I had to make it clear that was not going to happen. I had to get up and walk out, and after multiple texts from him I had to go ahead and block his number. I can't believe this guy had the nerve to judge me and treat me like less of a human being all these years when he's a total creep and a massive hypocrite. Always get a face pic, people. TL Doctor, chatted and eventually met up with a potential hookup that turned out to be my homophobic uncle. Should have insisted on the face pic. Edit, yay, this blew up. Too much to respond to, but I'll answer some pressing questions. I did, in fact, send a face pic so he did know who I was. It is pretty disturbing to say the least. As far as blackmail goes, I have everything saved, but I don't plan on doing anything with it as I think that could actually put me in danger. This man obviously has more problems than any of us could have known. Edit 2, this was fake. Reddit is gullible and I fucking hate today I fucked up. It's all fake stories, just like Tukes chromosomes. Get baited. May. The closeted part ain't weird. The are we still doing this attitude is. Yeah, it's strange how people are focusing mostly on that. I think the weirdest part is he wanted to fuck his nephew. I'd love to get an update on how the next family gathering is going and if he changed his behavior. The uncle still being interested after the big reveal is the best part here. So, do you not show your face on your profile either? Is it all shadows and weird angles? Edit, I was asking because the op explicitly states that the guy he matched with didn't show his face because it's pretty typical for older dudes not to show their face. That statement implies that op did show his face, which is why I was wondering. This story takes on a pretty different tone if op's uncle matched with him and saw his face in his profile and still went through with it anyway, as I inferred he did from that sentence. Buddy of mine is gay, can confirm that, at least in this area, Grindr is 90% shadows and weird angles. It's not incest if you say no chromo. Today I fucked up by sending a video without watching it, and now I am being adopted. So last Thursday night I saw everyone tagging their stepdads in the Budweiser commercial. Without watching it, I sent it to my stepdad. About an hour later my stepdad and mom call me, and ask if I'm hinting at something. My stepdad is like, I know you had intent. I'm like, huh? OMG, in the commercial the adult children are asking their stepdads to adopt them. So he starts crying, thinking I want this. Now I can't tell him that I didn't mean to. Friday he squeezed me so tight and said he wants me take his name and make it official. Etc. etc. All I can think is, wow, that sounds like a huge hassle. But I can never say anything about it being an accident. So like now I'm being adopted and changing my name. TL/Dr. sent a Father's Day commercial to my stepdad who is adopting me now. I'm 31. Is he at least a good stepdad? He's okay, we don't have a particularly close relationship, but he has been around for 19 of my 31 years. I'm cool with doing this and keeping my mouth shut because he is so happy about it, I guess. You fucked up, but you made your stepdad very happy. Not all is bad. Agree. But I am 31, changing my name sounds painful. It's a wholesome mess up lol. I wouldn't change your name at this point. At 31 there are professional implications to changing your name. I've heard that many women with established reputations don't do it even if they get married. Edit to add a funny anecdote, my wife was actually keen to change her last name to mine, she hadn't bothered after her divorce, particularly because my last name is actually her mother's maiden name. This is true. My wife is a published author and artist. If she took my last name, she wouldn't have been able to reference those as hers anymore. Our adopted son has my last name. Edit, we were advised by our lawyer that she shouldn't take my name. Off topic, but this reminds me of something that happened when I was a kid. So I'm in church with my grandparents, about 10 years old, not paying attention as usual. I decide I want to go to the lake after church, so I ask my grandpa if he'll go with me, not mentioning what I meant. Yeah, turns out that was the exact part where the preacher was asking if anyone wants to come up to agree to be baptized. Next thing I know, I'm walking down to the front with my grandpa. He looked so proud of me, I couldn't back out then. So that's how I got accidentally baptized.